Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me this Wednesday morning. Good afternoon. Well, good morning still. I wanted to drop in and talk a little bit today about empowered births. Oftentimes will see information on like mom groups or parenting groups or things like that, or even just advice from person to person about making decisions about your pregnancy and what that should look like. So first, a lot of times the advice skews from you should only talk to your provider about this. You don't need to solicit advice from mom groups or random people or whatever. And then the opposite usually is, it's kind of an era of, don't trust your provider. You need to, follow your instincts, and that's all you need to do. So, what I'm going to say is that you need a combination of both. You need to definitely 100% trust your instincts always. You have them there for a reason. But part of that trusting your instincts is finding a provider that is in alignment with the things that are important to you. So when topics like things like inductions or cesareans or augmentation during your actual labor, blood pressure issues, even different testing during your pregnancy, what that looks like. You want to be confident in the advice that you're getting from your provider, but you also want to listen to your own instincts about that. And it's okay to get feedback from other people about what their experiences are as well. Um, how you put that all into context is that your relationship with your provider is like any other relationship. It's based on trust. And how do you develop trust? You develop trust by one, being able to communicate openly, and two, being able to feel like you're getting the care and the consideration you need and the information you need in order to make a decision from a good place. That's really all it is. I highly advise you when you're going for your provider meetings, treat that as a relationship that you're developing. You want to be able to trust your provider so that they're looking out for you and your best interest. You don't need to blindly trust anyone. I don't recommend that for anyone, for any relationship, and definitely not for a medical relationship. And let me also just throw in, a little bit about. Um, I think that some of that advice also comes from a little bit of a place of privilege, because it's very easy to say you only need to have these talks with your provider, or you only need to trust in what they say and what they tell you. But what I'm going to tell you is that there is definitely a higher mortality and morbidity rate for women of color, for Black women, brown women, indigenous women in this country, up to 3 times higher maternal mortality and morbidity rate and infant morbidity rate. So to just tell someone who is going through that experience of not being sure in their trust with their provider or developing trust with their provider, it's not really constructive to just tell them, just do what your provider says. So I just want to pass that on as an information of having an internal gut check when you're giving advice or talking to people who do not have the same experience as you. Just be mindful of that. Um, Now, as a side note, to get back on track, you should be informed. You should ask good questions. You should feel like you're being listened to. You should feel like your concerns are generally or genuinely being considered, and that you have the information that you need to make the decisions that are the best for you. And that is how you have an empowered birth experience. You have a provider that's on your side, that's telling you the pros and cons, that's giving you and developing that trust along with you. It should be a collaborative care effort. And then you have your support team in place. You have your doula. You have, your partner, your spouse. You have a system in place for your recovery after you have your birth, whether that is a postpartum doula or any other, care in place. Friend check in. You have a mental health check in. If you're breastfeeding, you have a breastfeeding or lactation specialist on call that you have a relationship developed with. All of those things will help you to have an empowered birth experience. So, just wanted to drop in and give you guys a little bit of knowledge there. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out. You can reach me via my website at PremierDoulasAtlanta.com. Thanks. Have a great day.